Hello Cowboys Nation. Here's another round of Dallas Cowboys news. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like it so you don't team up. Cowboys and Dolphins look to cement contender status with wins on Sunday. Miami Gardens, Florida, AP. At various times this season, the Miami Dolphins and Dallas Cowboys have looked like contenders or pretenders. Both teams are 10-4, have their offense and defense ranked near the top of the league and have faced lesser competition, sometimes winning by surprising margins. But both have struggled against the best teams in the league. 3 of Miami's 4 losses have come against teams with winning records, while all 10 wins have come against teams that entered at .500 or worse. The Cowboys' only win against a team that currently has a winning record came a fortnight ago in a 33-13 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said he told his players not to think about qualifying for the playoffs. Miami currently sits in second place in the AFC and can clinch a playoff spot with a win on Sunday, or the narrative that they can't beat good teams. Anything other than worrying about the next opponent, which for us is the Dallas Cowboys, any other narrative that has to do with good teams or seeds for the playoffs or the next 3 games, all those things, McDaniel said Monday, I've given them permission to tell all members of the media to, with all due respect, F off. With all due respect. Pay attention or not, the Dolphins can change that trend on Sunday at home, where they have won 18 of their last 21 games. Tua Tagovailoa has a .792 winning percentage at home, which is second best among active defenders with at least 20 home starts. The Cowboys are 3-4 on the road. Last week, they lost 31-10 at Buffalo, giving up 266 rushing yards and recording just 195 total yards. You can't get to where you want to be by being a .500 team on the road, said Dallas coach Mike McCarthy. You're also not going to play in the playoffs at home with that record. It's definitely a focus for us. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott has averaged 304 passing yards, 2 interceptions and a 74% completion rate at AT&T Stadium. On the road, he averaged 216 yards per game with 5 picks and a 63% completion rate. The Cowboys clinched a playoff spot before they started against Buffalo, but they still have a chance to win the NFC East and secure first place in the conference. McCarthy said his team will rely on a mix of veterans and youth the rest of the way. That's why we spend so much time with our younger players, he said. Because this is the time of year when the young players play. And it's the most important time of the year because we're all fighting for playoff seeds and so on. I think the most important thing is to persist, be consistent and trust your leadership. Cowboys injuries. Dallas right guard Zach Martin is expected to play despite suffering a left quadriceps injury in the first half against Buffalo. Left tackle Tyron Smith, an 8-time Pro Bowler, was listed as doubtful after a back injury against the Bills. McCarthy said defender Jonathan Hankins would have a hard time getting going because of a sprained ankle. His absence was felt against the Bills, who gained more yards on the ground than any Cowboys opponent in Dan Quinn's 3 seasons as defensive coordinator. What Dallas defense works on. The Cowboys showed improvement in the weakest area for an opportunistic unit that excels at sacks and turnovers. But they regressed against Buffalo. James Cook rushed for 179 yards, the most for a Dallas opponent since Alfred Morris had 200 for Washington in the final game of 2012. We weren't physical, said cornerback Stephon Gilmore. They were more physical than we were. As long as you're physical, you have a chance to win. We weren't like that on Sunday. Childhood team. Tagovailoa will face the team he grew up loving for the first time on Sunday. Although his entire family cheered for the Cowboys, Tagovailoa said they are all Dolphins fans now. Even so, he's excited to face the team he watched as a child in Hawaii. It's going to be cool at the moment just to be able to see the star, Tagovailoa said. Being able to see those guys in their jerseys. Some of the guys who are playing, I used to watch them when I was in high school playing American football. And now I get to play against some of the guys on their team. Training connection. McDaniel knows Quinn well enough to know that the Cowboys' defense will be ready to improve on last week's poor performance against the run. McDaniel said the performance was more Buffalo execution than this, that or the other with Dallas. McDaniel was an offensive assistant with Atlanta in 2015-16 when Quinn was the head coach, and he has spoken in the past about Quinn helping start his sobriety journey. "He inspires guys to really give it their all," McDaniel said. "I witnessed that firsthand for a couple of years." Cowboys at Dolphins. Miami has a lot of questionable players due to injuries. The last look at the Miami side before the Cowboys game. As usual, the Miami Dolphins' final injury report of the week provided few definitive answers related to the Week 16 clash against the Dallas Cowboys, which may not be a bad thing in this case. The Dolphins ruled out just one player, guard Robert Hunt, posterior thigh muscle, while listing 7 others as questionable. That list was headed by Wr Tyreek Hill, who practiced on a limited basis for the second day in a row on Friday due to an ankle injury, and also included DB Elijah Campbell, knee, S. Jevon Holland, knee, CB Xavier Howard, hip, T. Austin Jackson, oblique, D. Emmanuel Ogbah, posterior thigh muscle, and CB Cam Smith, posterior thigh muscle. Campbell is a new name on the injury report and was listed as limited due to a knee injury, suggesting he suffered the injury in Friday's practice. It's November 25, 1993. We were at Texas Stadium for a Thanksgiving Day showdown between the hometown Dallas Cowboys and the visiting Miami Dolphins. Dallas controls the game with a 1-point lead, but Miami is lining up for a field. Hunt's place in the starting lineup will once again be taken by third-year player Robert Jones. On a positive note, RB Devon Achane, T. Terron Armstead and OL Liam Eichenberg did not receive a game status designation, meaning they are ready to play. The same goes for safety Deshaun Elliott, who will be back in the lineup after missing the Jets game last Sunday due to a concussion. NFL's most dangerous defensive player. There are a lot of game-changing defensive players in the NFL right now. Almost every team could claim to have the best. That said, there aren't many, if any, players like Micah Parsons in the NFL. He has the ability to play off the ball, as he did in college, and line up almost anywhere on defense. However, where he really destroys games is as a pass rusher. The biggest problem with Parsons' game planning is that you don't know where they're going to position him. He's just as good running inside as he is on the edge. Since Miami is dealing with more injuries on the interior of its offensive line, you have to imagine that's where they'll position him the most. Lester Cotton, Rob Jones and Liam Eichenberg, I hope Rob Hunt plays, will get a heavy dose of Parsons. Slowing down Dak and the offense. This offense follows the same pattern as Dak Prescott. While they have some talented players at running back and one of the best defensive lines in all of football, they don't rely heavily on their running game. This is a big play offense and it will be important to stop/limit their explosive plays through the air. One of the best ways to do that is to chase Dak Prescott. The Bills only attacked Prescott on 17% of their dropbacks, but managed to pressure him on about 25%, getting home with 3 sacks. The Cowboys fell behind early in the game and some injuries to the offensive line, notably Zach Martin, forced them to abandon balance and throw the ball. The Bills were physical and really dominated the Cowboys team in all facets of the game. The status of the Cowboys' 2 best offensive linemen, Tyron Smith and Zach Martin, will have a big impact on how well they can protect Dak in this game. What did you think of this news? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Dallas Cowboys news. Thank you.